is Chris, and I'm an alcoholic. Yeah. My sobriety date is November 10th, 2023. Yeah. And I have a sponsor, and he has a sponsor, and so on. You've heard all this. And I have a home group, which is the Thursday night St. Al's men's meeting.
All right.
Yeah. See all my homies here? Yeah. Man, it's funny, they let a crazy person come up here, but then again, that's the club I joined, it's the cult. Yeah. Yeah, we've all been there. Well, so my life began in the Gonzaga neighborhood. My parents are GU alumni and got some good degrees and made a good life for me and my brother here in Spokane. And we started out in a small house and moved around a bit in the neighborhood and had a pretty normal life. I, on the other hand, was causing wreckage or craziness from a young age, like sitting on a windowsill when I was a toddler and dropping a telephone out the window. Oh yeah, remember those old corded phones that had like bungee? I would like dangle that out, and my parents would freak out. Like I was already getting myself in trouble early. Oh yeah, and apparently I went on a little adventure like a block away and got lost. Apparently my parents put out a missing child. The neighborhood was looking for me. But I thought nothing of it. I don't even remember that. That's just what they tell me. But apparently, if you told me about what I was doing when I was drinking, I totally don't remember a lot of that. But that happened. There's receipts and stuff. Yeah, well. And by the way, I don't even think, I'm not wholly original. I am a collective of everybody I've come to know in AA. Like, I go to NA and CA, so I don't have to go to the DA. You probably know her. And I'm truly grateful. It's a good idea to come to a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous. And I can't do this by myself. I want you guys at this meeting. I need you guys in this meeting. And I thank every one of you. I could go on. But that's all true. It sticks in my head now. So, growing up in school, I always wanted to be. I looked up to the cool, rebellious people who usually got themselves in trouble by being anti-authority and dressed weird. And so those were my heroes, I guess. Yeah, I got kicked out of 3rd grade for stealing the teacher's laser pointer. Those are a new thing in the 90s. And yeah, they didn't like that. So my parents put me in Catholic school, which I cried my eyes out because I gotta have to wear a uniform. This is totally crap. But soon I started to like it. It was the smallest Catholic school in the Spokane area. It was less than 100 kids there. But even there, even though I started to like it, I did my own weird shit. Well, I can't exactly recall, but usually I was called into the principal's office a lot. Oh yeah, we had the Valley Sheriff come teach us the DARE program. And I thought that was pretty cool. I'm going to stick with that for the rest of my life. Those whole teachings. But obviously that's not what happened. So, okay, I got through there and it was time to get into high school. And I took the entry exams to get into G-Prep and passed and thought that was promising and I was going to go on into continual private education. But my parents didn't think that was going to work out, and they didn't want to pay the tuition, knowing that a lot of people get kicked out of there if they don't follow the rules right, which is understandable in my case. So let's just cut the BS and just put me in public school, which was a total opposite of going from a small community that's very religious to just the normal world, I guess you could say, where there's none of that, and the students come from bad backgrounds and do drugs and probably this is true, have sex every day after school. But I thought, okay, I'm going to learn to like this. That didn't happen. None of that stuff happened with me. And of course, so I didn't quite fit in my freshman and sophomore year. And by the way, if anybody from the mid-2000s probably remembers the emo and goth phase, the alternative rock. I was into that whole genres, which was weird as hell because it kind of incorporated cutting yourself, listening to stupid music that nobody remembers now. Yeah, bringing back nostalgia. Yeah, but none of that was cool, and especially wasn't with my parents, so... Oh, yeah, the reason I didn't last long at that is there was this girl who I liked, but didn't like me the same way back. She put me in the friend zone. I was also overweight at a young age, so it wasn't the most attractive. So, yeah, I threatened to kill some people at school. Yeah, which is not cool. That really doesn't... They probably should have put me in jail, but... No, they just wanted to get rid of me. So I was kind of in limbo for a year. By the grace of God, I was able to go back to school. They let me, as long as I just keep my mouth shut, which is hard for me. So then I'm back in, I finished out high school, the skin of my teeth, on my probationary or discipline record, but and my academic record was okay, but just barely cutting it. There was this girl I met at Lewis and Clark, where I finished out high school, who was a lot like me, who hated everybody, and felt like the world was doing her wrong, and liked getting loaded. So, I should back up a bit. So, in between those two halves of high school, there was this anarchist group in Spokane that, kind of like Antifa, we know about it nowadays. Yeah, but before any of that became known about, we were just a bunch of nobodies trying to be somebodies. And I got in with them, and we actually my brother and I got arrested on the 4th of July at Riverfront Park. Oh yeah, I'm going to bring up him a lot. So, I'm sorry I dragged you into that. Yeah, I wasn't as hardcore as those guys. They were going around tagging graffiti. Okay, it's a good thing I got. They didn't want me in their group either. Just because on the basis that I was hella weird. So then when my substance usage started was I just used to hang around downtown, and there were these homeless people, or halfway homeless, I guess you'd say, in and out of jail. I guess I fell into the wrong crowd, for real. And first time I got loaded, or I drank to oblivion, was I was like 17 years old, and down in Peaceful Valley Park, yeah, we all like scrounged together some money, and we get a bottle of booze. It was like 151, so I was already setting myself, and I've never been drunk before. And yeah, I don't remember much, just how awful it tasted, but I was off and rocketing, high octane. Because then I blacked out, and next thing the paramedics were taking me to the hospital, and one of the worst times I put my parents through. They were there when I woke up. And took me home and said, like, I hope you learn your lesson, that alcohol is very bad. I'm like, I'm only 17, I'm going to keep doing this. But of course, I'm not old enough to buy alcohol, but I just kept hanging out with that crowd because I had nothing really, I didn't see my future yet, or I had any plans of what I was wanting to do in life. And so, one of the guys the lead guy was named Megazord. the Power Rangers. Giant robot that transforms. That's apparently what he was known as. Big guy. I hung out with him a lot and looked up, but he was always going to jail for things, you know. And I thought that was cool. But I still had my family who felt that I was going to do okay in life, and thought I should enroll in college, which is the normal thing to do. But I didn't really. I was just trying to get a 2-year general study degree, and see where that took me. But I was doing okay at that time, but I was really just going to donate plasma so I can get some money, you know, and go get some weed. Oh yeah, sorry to any of you. My story, if you could tell your sponsor if you don't like this, drugs had a large part to do with my life. I'm sure it did for a lot of us. But alcohol definitely helped with that, the whole partying. So, I just screwed around in college and got high a lot. And, didn't take things really seriously. And that girl from high school, we stayed together as good friends for a long time, but over the last summer, we had to cut it off, any knowing of each other. Because years later, it's a miracle I'm even up here. For one, I'm still alive, and two, that I'm staying sober, telling you all about. Yeah. But, I thought maybe we could have a life together, her and I. She could collect her mental disability SSI. I could keep on my crappy job, and that would work out. Yeah, was I delusional? Yeah.
Love you, Chris.
I love you too, guys. But I'm jumping around, so if I'm just trying to stick to one plot line. So where am I at? Call it young 20s. Yeah, my whole 20s were completely wasted. Literally and metaphorically. Yeah, it's all good.
You're doing good.
Oh, yeah, by the way, when I was in that emo phase, I wanted everybody to believe I had a mental disorder. And
We believe you.
yeah, I don't know if there's any psychologists in here who are already making their evaluation. By the end of this, have it all figured out. It's pretty apparent I had substance use disorder, but there are phases to that. Like phase one, you start out smoking weed, and then you party now and then, but then it progresses, and
What's phase two?
Drinking more and more, just doing stuff more and more. But then phase three is when you get into hard shit, and life becomes hell. So that was like in my mid-20s, or I got into meth. That buddy of mine, Megazord, he was like, I was doing AA, like my family, I come from genetics of alcoholics, and they knew, dude, you're going off on the wrong path. You better get your ass to AA. And in fact, you should sign in the IOP. Look, my criminal history isn't that bad, I can tell you. Another miracle. I never got any DUIs either because I never even learned to drive. I wanted to give that a chance. I know I was going to mess that up. Big time. I slammed 7 cars while blacked out. Only one person in this room can claim fame of that. So oftentimes on weekends is when I still hung out with that downtown crowd. Like we'd spange up, because we didn't have jobs really. We're bums. They played a prank on me, because I was a newbie. They've already been getting loaded for a long time, and I was already pretty blacking out in the park. And they handed me this crushed pop can and put some green substance in it and said, "Hey Chris, smoke this." Okay. And they told me after which, "Hey Chris, you just smoked goose shit." What's wrong with you, man? Like, how did it taste? Green. Oh no, it tasted like chicken, I think. Oh yeah, it did come out of a bird. So, yeah. Oh man. I know we've all done some dumb shit. Yeah. That's gold. But, so that, nothing too bad happened in between, just like the usual routine, like I'm telling you about. But I was scared to try meth. It's like, dude, I know that's not good stuff, man. And it's like, no, you'd be cool like us. It's just like in a Dare commercial. It's really sad, but it's funny now. I can look back and laugh. Like, it's the most fun, it's the best feeling at first. But then you're up for a couple days and seeing shadow people. Man, I wouldn't wish that on my enemies. By the way, like, my mom especially, when she passes away, the white light is gonna take her up to heaven because of all the crap I put her through. She's practically a saint now. Yeah. So like that usage went on for like 5 years, and just drifted around at some jobs. I never really could. I was unemployable basically. I went through dumpsters a lot, and I still lived at home. I was like the weirdest person in the neighborhood. And I had neighbors that I hung out with who were SSI recipients, and that was cool because they get government money and they'd share with me, and for some reason enjoyed my company. Because we basically just like to get loaded together, and mostly just alcohol and marijuana. I figured, I'm done with that meth shit. I just want to do the normal drugs. It's legal. Oh, the worst time I had while trying to score some crystal was, I was already intoxicated, It's like, I should have saw the signs of addiction and mental illness earlier. But I was in a blackout and I was walking down the Mission Park where a lot of tweakers hang out. And I thought I could, get some. And from the report that was written, they said I was like talking to telephones in Chinese. I don't remember that. I just remember this GU campus security guard came up to me and he got out. Apparently he tried to be friendly with me at first, but he realized I was so incoherent, he was going to have to subdue me. Yeah, I was so pissed the next day after that, because it turned into a wrestle scuffle, and they had to handcuff me, and they called in the city police's backup and an ambulance, and I'm just kicking and screaming to let me go, and they wanted to know what was I up to. Luckily, they should have put me in the psych ward that night. I was carrying around that jug with me, and they took that, and I was like, that was mine, man. Yeah. I've made amends for all the mistakes I've made nowadays. You haven't seen me like a banshee, because, yeah, I'm sure a lot of us were like that. That's why I'm one of you guys. Yeah, and like everything I'm telling you, it's like life was not. I was in Loserville. I couldn't keep a job. I couldn't see myself completing college, and I didn't have any real friends. Just using buds. That I just really hated the world. That nothing was working out with me. And I didn't care if I lived or died. I'm pretty sure a couple times I was trying to commit suicide by cop. Luckily, though, they had pity on me. They didn't even really arrest me. They just questioned the hell out of me, like, what is going through your head, man? Nothing, I'll be good, I'll go home. Actually, so that time on campus, I said, just go call my mom and she'll come and get me. And which she did. And yeah, we had some talking to do with the arresting officer who came to our house, and hoped that was never going to happen again. Well, that's just, the insanity is that I keep doing the same shit. Where does that leave me? I did pray, God, just have something work out for me. And my dad had retired from his, he was a traveling attorney, or worked for legal for Social Security. He like go around Northwest, and also had a weekend job providing for my family. But he retired from that and did a taxi job. So he drive people around, usually drunk people. But so that he gave this guy a ride to work to a pallet repair place out in Geiger, and that was the first. I was like, great! Now I can finally make money so I can get loaded, and I won't have to steal. And oh yeah, about that. Yeah, I stole a lot. Usually from my parents. Like, they had 50 state quarter collections. Yeah, I hawked those. Oh. Yeah, I don't know, those would be worth quite a bit nowadays. Yeah, upon awakening nowadays, I do pray to God to lead me in the right direction. And when I was using, upon awakening, it was usually, how can I fuck somebody over? Yeah, that's addiction too. Like, I'm hitting all the hallmarks. And I'm still not done yet with my addiction, because like now I think I can be self-sufficient and functional, which is just going to make it worse. So, I didn't really like that job. Nobody should ever do that job, by the way. But it is a job, so that was some grace God gave me, and I was gonna make it happen. So after I get paychecks, and after holidays, I usually call in sick that I'm hungover. In fact, and drinking on the job. I didn't know that's a no-no. Like the first week or two on starting that, I'm walking through the work building with a beer in my hand. And my boss is like, "Are you serious? I'm gonna have to send you home, Chris." But this is the weirdest thing. It's like we were allowed to smoke weed on the work site. So I thought I hit the jackpot. I'm like, okay, well, I can smoke weed at work, but then I'll just wait till I get home and get as drunk as I want. I think that was the most I ever made of myself in life at that point. That I still was really resentful at life. Even though I had a good upbringing, it was the best my parents could do for me. I just wasn't making anything of myself, and it wasn't much money I was making, just enough I could get loaded. That was during COVID. Those dark days, which is why a lot of people all they did was drink and go to work. Oh, but we also got those stimulus checks, which I've always wanted to have some cowboy action guns. So that's how I started that addiction. But I was so stupid in those times. I came back from a bar, Jackson Street Tavern, and I thought it'd be cool to be a gunslinger like Billy the Kid. And I was in my garage, and twirling, fiddling, and I had the rounds loaded in there, so I thought I would give it the right weight. Yeah, you see where this is going. That it slipped out of my hand and dropped, and one of the rounds went off. I never even got to practice with it. So I learned gun safety in a split second. I just got knocked on my ass all of a sudden, and I'm pretty drunk, but that sobered me up pretty good. I tried to stand up, and I realized something was wrong, that I was messed up. I screamed out for help, and my mom heard me. She barely heard the gunshot in the garage. But another miracle, that my mom was like, "Eli, Chris just shot himself in the hospital." So, I don't know, I picked up some stick and I hobbled into the car. My x-ray showed me my tibia fibula. Thank God not my femur, because that's really painful. Or smashed to smithereens. So it was like 3 months before I could heal up and recuperate from that. And my family's telling me, "I'm pretty sure you're done drinking." and drug using. I felt that, maybe this is God's way of telling me something. Problem. That didn't matter, man. I still, after being released from the hospital, used my crutches to go the 5 blocks to the liquor store. And they're surprised to see me. I'm like, "Oh, you don't look too good, man." I'm just getting some beer, none of the hard stuff. I made it back home, and I tried to keep that a secret, that I was having some beers here and there while fucked up. as much as I hated that pallet job, my boss showed me a lot of grace that he held on my position until I could come back and work. So I owe him a lot of thanks. But, I've been praying and seeking hard for something else besides that ridiculous life. But in the meantime, I still have researching to do. And so a year after that gunshot, life's just still the same old thing. I can work and I can drink. And my brother, he was going through like a bad breakup, and he got really messed up in the head from like 1,000 milligrams of THC, and he was having some mental weird stuff going on with him, and I just thought he was trying to bug the shit out of me. Like Bugs Bunny. I don't get it, man. But I was like Yosemite Sam. I had a very short fuse. Man. And how much was I? Probably a case of beer and a pint a day. Like 15 drinks. And so on the 4th of July of 2023, I had more than my usual amount of alcohol, and I just had it up to here. I couldn't take any more shit, and I was really just mad at myself. It's nobody's fault, I was the way I was. I made all my own mistakes. And so I lashed out at my family, which we had prior fights before. Like, Chris, you gotta stop drinking, man. This has gone on long enough. I'm like, fuck you, I'm doing whatever I want. And that I was throwing punches and pulling my brother's pants down, apparently. Like, I don't remember a lot of that, but the cops did come to our house twice that holiday to want to make sure everything was all right. Obviously, it wasn't. Yeah, and so they hauled me in, and I had to sit in jail for a few days and just think things over. Of course, I blamed everybody, but you should start to look at yourself if you're getting that way. So then they released me. Oh, and by the way, you know that if you've ever done the walk from your jail cell into the video courtroom, you know shit's about to get real. Oh man, I didn't realize how I'm going. Well, here's my options in life. It's like, who wants to become a sober person? You can A, maybe just drink alcohol. B, smoke weed. C, drink alcohol and smoke weed. Or D, go to AA. Now this is a tough one for me because I haven't had to make hard decisions. So I'm going to ask the audience, and 100% of them say you should go to AA. I'll call a friend, see what he says, and yeah, okay. And I'll eliminate two of those answers. Pretty much I was court ordered to do IOP, but that wasn't going to do enough for me. I figured I better go back to AA. And I got through some channels, I got a hold of my sponsor, who he had been wondering about me. Like, oh, when were you? I was hoping you'd call me. Are you ready to work some steps, change your life finally? Yeah. So yeah, I didn't like it at first. He'd come over to my house, and I was so excited. Things are gonna turn out great for me. And I didn't believe a single word of what he was saying. But I was ordered to get sober one way or another. And by the way, don't ever get a sponsor, because they will fuck your life up. But pretty much I was a 5-pound pile of shit inside of a 2-pound bag. Nobody wanted me around. But, he wanted me over, and we started reading the book, and he's like, are you ready to go to any lengths to change your life? Because you sure as hell hate your life. It's probably because of your drinking and usage. Okay, I'm starting to admit things, and I'm going to see where these steps take me. Slowly and surely, sometimes quickly, slowly, my life started to get better. I started making amends to people. I'm sorry to right before I started AA, I got told I had to leave outpatient class because I had drank that night. My last drink was twisted tea, a whole box of it. Pretty stupid. But I was trying to slow down on my whole drinking. I don't think I could fully stop quite yet. I thought if you could keep using while you're working the steps. And then just somewhere along the line, you'll just decide to want to stop. Well, some way, no, my sponsor said, you gotta stay sober for a week before we can start working the steps. That was the toughest thing I had to do. But boy, it was the best decision I ever made. Yeah. Oh, and then he was like, you've never gotten your driver's license? We're gonna work on that. Which I'm so thankful to him too, because then now that's gonna help me do service work of going to meetings and just getting my life going. Be independent. Yeah. Yeah, and I haven't had any traffic violations over years. Since then, I finally could do the things I've been wanting to do. Like I have this good buddy in the Catholic Church who wanted me to join the Knights of Columbus, which is like a charity fraternity. We get to be at Gonzaga basketball games, selling concession food. We help Special Olympics participants. Yeah, we do a lot of good stuff in that. I was allowed to come back to the Civil War Club I'm part of in Washington. Yeah, because they didn't want. You have a role you do when you're there, and being the town drunk doesn't give a good image. Yeah. The lady, one of the commanders there thought, I think you might have a mental disorder. And so did my counselor at the last treatment center I did, thought that I should have an evaluation, which was maybe true. I was definitely insane with a disease. But it turns out, what she said, you'll get sane now that you're in AA. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm a lot better than I used to be, and I realize I still have some character defects. I've had to learn how to love, which I didn't love myself. How to have patience and tolerance, and basically, the Bible calls those the gifts of the Holy Spirit, which AA is teaching us. Yeah. So I've come a long ways from being a total fuck up. Yeah. Well, should I stop now? Okay. That's enough. Yeah, thank you guys.